what we're doing here with our class is pretty much, okay, pretty much we're kind of rocking and rolling at the same pace that we always are, because you guys are still kind of working at your own pace on your own individual thing. So there's not going to be really a whole lot of difference in what we're doing. However, I am curious to know what you guys are doing in your other classes. Do any of you guys have cool stuff that you guys are doing in your other classes? Because since I am the manager of all the social media for DPA, I also want to include some cool stuff that you guys are doing in those classes as well.
Only thing I think I know of in
all right, so y'all can do that just right here in the chat, and I'll talk to you guys, and I'm texting Mr. Falk right now. All right, Will, I am taking a look at what you turned in for 13, and what you turned in for 13 is actually the info for number 9. So number 9 was the media example stuff. Oh, Marcus, no cool stuff? I'm the only cool person? Okay, so just kidding. That was number 10. Number 10 was the media stuff. So what you just turned in on number 13, those slides, that should actually be number 10. And I think I sent you an email that gave you screenshots of what each one of those were supposed to look like last night.
It didn't make any sense to me whenever I saw them. It didn't.
While I'm getting this done, this text to Mr. Falk, I want you to go and look at that one. So yes, we're returning it back to you.
It's just whenever I the slides you sent me, it didn't make any sense to me.
All right, so we just asked him that question really quick, like, all right, did any of you guys have Mrs. Money for your science class?
No.
Oh.
All right, Nathan, your slides are looking good, so I'm going to move you forward into the presentation part in just a second. Yes, so we're returning that back to you with a 100. Oh man, bummer, because I heard that their class is doing something really cool today with a digital microscope. So if there's anything that you guys are doing today in your other classes that you think may, like remotely be interesting, I think you guys should screenshot it on whatever your computer whatever computer you're on. If you've got one of these Windows computers, then you can use that snip tool. If you're on one of the Chromebooks, you could use the control and then the button that's on the top row that is for screenshotting. And then you guys could send me that image, and I could include it in a Facebook post and a YouTube video.
Miss Newsom?
No, you do not have to have your camera on, my friend.
Miss Newsom.
So it is completely fine for you to not show your faces. Completely okay. All right, so I have started our recording, so I can officially tell you guys, hello, happy Friday, and happy Digital DPA Day, and we're gonna go ahead and get rocking. So I told you guys to go into our shared Google Slides that brings up our chat window, and I want to know what you guys are working on today. So we're kind of going along at the same pace that we always do, that you guys are kind of working on different things. So as far as who I'm talking to, it's going to kind of bounce all over the place so that we can kind of do what we always do as far as clean up, catch up Friday. But I have to clean up and catch up with every single one of you kind of individually. So I would say today for sure for you to stay active as far as listening to me talking to you, because I may be actually talking to you on top of typing some things. We've got Newsom TV going, that we are doing all of the Google Classroom stuff so that we can just be projecting here. So anytime you guys are turning in assignments, as soon as it is seen, then even if I'm typing to somebody else, I'll just say your name and tell you that we need to talk about something or that you need to go back and fix something. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Is John here? All right, I do not see John. All right. I know that there were some people that emailed Marcus. I will, absolutely. Give me 2 seconds. I know there were some people that weren't going to be able to get on today because they did not fill out that permission form. Alrighty, let's see. Who else we've got here? All right, Aiden. I am in your stuff right here, and I want you to in our chat right there. I want you to tell me what you're working on right now. Roughly speaking, our timer is accurate. We have until 10:20 before you guys will need to transition to your next Google Meet or Zoom or whatever. But I wanted us to have kind of like a decompress time at the very end of class because I'm about to start going 90 miles an hour. So I want a decompress time for us to talk about what next week is going to look like. All right, so Aiden, my friend, I am just looking for you to tell me what you are working on right there. All right, Mitchell, I do not see in here right now. He will get the recording sent to him as soon as we are done. All right, Nathan. Yeah, you're in here, Jonathan, right? I'm just now seeing your email that said it was lagging.
I'm here.
All right, so Nathan, I think we already looked at all of your stuff. Okay, so yes, Nathan, give me just a second to run through everyone else's stuff really quickly, and then I'm going to come back and show you how you go about the presentation element. All right, Israel. Very cool. You're looking back on the assignment and seeing what is missed and assigned. All right, so when you look back, what have you found? What is it? I know we emailed you at some point in time last night or this morning. All of my stuff is falling.
There's an earthquake.
All right, so let me know in that chat. After we emailed you and we looked at some things, what is it that you decided you need to do next? And I will come right back into yours in just a second. All right, so now we are with Will. All right, Will, my friend, what are you working on? Are you working on that number 10 that I just mentioned?
No, ma'am. It's number 13 still. I don't get the presentation you sent me before. That's supposed to look like it. I just don't get it at all.
All right, Marcus. All right, Marcus, let's take a look at your slides. All right, so on this one right here, did you want that to just be like just an intro slide? Or were you going to go back and put something right there? Oh, okay. All right, that looks good. Awesome, awesome. All right, yeah, so right here, you only have 3 facts cited. So what's up with that one? Because right there on the positives, you have 5. Did you only use 3 sources? Yeah, so what I would do is for those other ones, just add those other 2 references. So if you were to do like you did like that. Let's see how we could do that properly. MLA. All right. I guess it would be interview, because you would have kind of sort of interviewed yourself. All right, so Marcus, let me find where your stuff is really quickly. All right, so right here, use that, but where it says, you know, Billiken Billy, put your name, and then put whatever day it was. I mean, you could just use today's date. That would be completely and totally fine. All right, so looking here, that was the blank one that I created in case I needed to tell you guys something as a group. All right, John, we said, is not going to be able to be in here. All right, so whose stuff am I not in? Josiah, did you send me a shared slide? Because if so, I'm not in it, and I need to be. All right, Israel, I'm in one with you. Jonathan, did you send me one? Am I just not in it? All right, those of you that I didn't just talk to, if you've created a shared slides, if you would just send it to me one more time, because I may have accidentally dropped it into another class folder. I just want to make sure that I have it. All right, so you've done number 10 and got a 100. All right, so I guess you just need some help on number 13 and what you're supposed to do on 13. Will. All right, Jonathan, just hit that share button again so it'll email me and I can click to it super fast without having to search. Yes, thank you so much, my dear. All right, so Will, for number 13, you had it right here, all of the instructions. That is where we are actually taking our information for 11 and 12, and we are putting that into that slideshow. So what you did was take the info from number 10 and put that in a slideshow. That isn't what we needed to do. We need to take the stuff in 11 and 12 and do that. But that's not what you have attached to number 13. What you have attached to number 13 is something different.
Miss Newsom.
All right, so Jonathan, you are in there now. So Jonathan, my friend, what are you working on? And Josiah, just share yours to me as well. All right, so when you guys are doing number 13, I gave you guys access to this video that I did, or this PowerPoint Google Slides that I did. I am going to send it again to you guys right here in the chat so that you can have it again. So if you guys are caught up and you are flying forward and you are working on number 13, for part of your screen, you need to bring up, you can delete it, you need to bring up your 11 and 12, which is the thing that looks like this right here. Yes, I just got it. So I will also share this with you guys in the chat. This is from Evan, who is one of my 9th graders, and I know that his looks right. So even if you do not have yours done, you can get number 13 started and done today. All right, so what you will do, I'll just show you, I'll just pretend to be a student really quickly. Yes, number 14. Yes. All right, so I would take and make part of my screen this information, and then the other part I would have my slides that I'm going to start using. All right, I gave you guys access to this video. Well, there's 2 videos. So I would have these right here. The first one is just a very Bobo basic video that just talks you through how you create a slideshow and what you need to have on each slide. All right, so I could take and drag that there, and then I could start playing it. And even if you don't want to have the sound on because you don't want to hear me, you want to hear me right now instead of the slides, you still get to see everything of what I'm doing. Because as you see here, I'm split screened and I'm pretending to be a student, and I'm showing you exactly what every slide should look like. All right, so that is the first video. And then once you have that one done and you have your slides, like the background of it set up, then you can go to this one that says level up. And for that one, when you click on it, it will show you how to then go back to each one of your slides and add in backgrounds. Even if you wanted to mute it and just see what I was doing, as you see, I also have that video that I'm creating the slides over here, and I've got my information over here. All right, so that really should be something that helps you a lot when it comes to getting the number 13 knocked out very, very quickly. So even if you guys are in the catch-up class because you added into our class a little bit later, you should still be able to catch up with your number 1 through number 8, and then also propel forward into working on this today as well. All right, so let's take a look-see at what other people need right now. That's perfect. T versus M video presentation, yes. All right, so for those of you, and really honestly, I think all of us, we need to go ahead and download this app extension together, because for our projects, okay, so every single time we have a project, which is every assignment, so everything we do, which next week will, turn into like coding, it will be a major. Every single thing that we do, every app we code, every robotic kind of thing that we do, every computer science thing that we do, we have a presentation element that we are actually creating content for YouTube. So we've got our Newsom Nest Project Lead the Way YouTube page that we are going to be creating content for, because there is a large gap in like computer science content. There are a lot of Project Lead the Way classes all over the country, and there's just not a lot of tutorials there to teach students how to complete that stuff. Yes, that looks absolutely. The due date will be next Wednesday. Yeah, so the 4th, yes. All right, so every presentation, including this one, will be turned into a YouTube video. The way we do that is through some kind of screencasting program. The one that we used mostly all last school year was Screencastify, and it worked really well because it is a free program that you guys do not have to pay for, and it allows you to do 5-minute clips before it tries to charge you. So if you guys are concerned about any kind of like notoriety, that you don't want your name or your face associated with what we are putting out, that is completely and totally fine. I would just say that in you guys' presentations, like if this was mine and I was doing, man versus tech, instead of putting my full name, I would just put, CMN, I would just put my initials. And when I create my video, I just would never reference my name. All right, y'all, Mr. Falk just texted back, and I need to know what coach we are talking about. So just throw that in the chat right down there in our class chat so that I can let him know. All right, Carter. Okay, so I guess it was all Coach Carter. All right, let's see what he says back to us. All right, he says he's going to check on it for us. So you guys will not be penalized because I just let him know that it is you guys that were having the problem. So no big deal whatsoever. right, so if you were concerned about having your face in your screencast or having your name, honestly, you can do it in whatever order you want, Jonathan, so it doesn't really matter to me. Make it yours. Make it personal. Okay, so now we would, let's say, let me go to Marcus's because he is pretty much done. All right, so yikes, I can't see your chat right there because it's way too tiny. So I will look at that in just a second. All right, so let's pretend that we are Marcus and we are about to do our presentation. All right, so I need you guys to go in another tab. Absolutely, Aiden, you are not going to miss much. Good deal, Will. I will look at that in just a moment. All right, so you're going to go to Screencastify. And we're going to be downloading the Google app extension, which will be one of these tools up here. All right, so I'm just going to give you the link to Screencastify right there. And this is one. Everything that I ever send you guys and everything that I ask you guys to add as app extensions or to download or whatever, I always do a lot of research on the back end to make sure it is going to work correctly. It's not going to crash your stuff, and that it is also never going to have any like really ridiculous pop-ups happen. All right, so very good, Marcus. Awesome. So this is a Google app extension. If you don't have it installed, then you should see a little button right there that says add to Chrome. All right, I would add it to Chrome. And then when you're ready to do your presentation, keep in mind, first of all, that this is, YouTube content. So you don't want to be like really boring. You don't want to just do like you guys did, or you may have seen people do in like the 3rd grade when you had to do a presentation about your dog or something and you stood up there and you're like, hi, my name is Crystal Newsom, and I'm going to give you a presentation today about my dog. Either that or they turn around and they have their bottom facing you and they read their slides. Y'all, that's super boring, and I don't want to produce that stuff to YouTube any more than you want to do it or any more than I want to watch it to try to produce it. So we're going to be doing a lot more innovative things, which is why I want you guys to make sure that you have some animated stuff added into your presentations. And if you aren't using your face in it, I want you to make sure that you're doing voice inflection and that you're not just talking like this. All right, so I have my Screencastify added. So I'm going to pretend that I am Marcus, and I'm going to show you what it will look like to screencast. All right, that's your little Screencastify button right there. So I would click my Screencastify button. Very good, Nathan. If I wanted to include my webcam, you can right there with embed webcam. If you don't want to, completely fine. It will never be mandatory. We just have to have your voice in there. If you were, self-conscious about having your voice added to it, there are plenty of voice modulators that you can download as app extensions or onto your hard drive of your home computer that you can end up having a different voice if you didn't want to use your voice. But we do have to have your voice of some shape, form, or fashion.
Yes, Newsom.
Yeah, but absolutely, yes, absolutely good point. Make sure it's intelligible and that you're not going to use like the robot voice that you can't understand what you're saying. Because once again, the whole point is us creating YouTube content that people are actually going to click on.
Yes, Newsom.
We don't want to see your video after, 3 months have 0 views. Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Dr. Newsom over here getting the subs 40 plus a day. You have a Bitmoji and you don't know how to sync it. All right, so you'll do the exact same thing. Just go to bitmoji.com. I think it's bitmoji.com. And it has an app extension, and it will look like, let me find one of my little tabs here. Let me make this bigger really quick, and it looks like that right there. So then when you click it, the first screen that you'll see is signing into it. And then as soon as you sign into it, then it'll just be right here. And anytime you want to add something over, like if I wanted to add this to my slides, I would just take and drag it up and over to the slides, and it would create the image. That's exactly how I created your digital badges, and also a lot of the stuff that I send you guys. All right, so in the screencast, Will, I need to talk to you again about number 13 in just a moment. When you are doing your screencast, you're going to hit this little screencastify button. Like I just did, I have to do it again. I am going to choose my microphone. You should make sure that you can, say something and you see that going up and down to make sure it's going to work. And then if you want to embed your webcam, go for it. If you don't, fine. There is a website, loom.ai, that you can create an avatar, and your avatar would be there in place of your face, and your avatar would be talking. That is a program that you have to download. So it can't work on Chromebooks. But if you guys have a PC or some other kind of non-Chromebook laptop at home, then you can do that. All right, so then I would hit record. It's going to have you pick what all it is that you want to be embedded, and then you're going to click share. It will count you down, and then as soon as you see that countdown over, then you're going to want to hit present on your screen. And if you have a little bit of dead time that you're still doing this, that's fine, because you will see an editor when you're done that you can cut that out. All right, so then I'm going to hit present, and I would take and hide that right there. So then I would go through my presentation, and I would just say, hey guys, my name is Mrs. Newsom, and I'm going to come and talk to you today about some goods and some bads, some awesome and some awful of tech. So let's get started. And you would just click through. Alrighty, so with my personal interactions with tech, I have seen both the awesome and the awful, such as positive. I use Chromebooks in most of my classes, and that helps me get a lot of my projects done faster. But there are also some negative things with technology, such as when you have to plug something into an outlet. A lot of people also hate social media, and sometimes they have a reason, sometimes they don't. I'm pretty sure you love social media, so if you wanted to say that you love social media, then you could include that. All right, and then you would go, just, keep going, keep flowing. I would say for sure for you to not just blatantly read your stuff. You would just say, all right, so here are 5 positives, positive examples of technology and how it can be used in today's society. It can be used in schools with children being able to use tech, whether it be to communicate or to create. It can help people to find careers and also to progress in those careers. It can make life a lot easier for teachers so that they can grade assignments faster. Most of our cars now are tech-based, and most of our cars have computers in them now. And there are also a lot of things that can be done in the court system and with CSI and with tech behind police work to make things a lot safer and more efficient and more accurate. All right, so you would just continue just like that all the way through your project. If you wanted to move this around, you can actually take and move it around where it would go. And then when you're done with it, you would just hit escape to get back out of that screen. And then you would click this button on Screencastify so that you can stop it. And like I said, don't worry about you having to edit stuff out, because that's completely fine. All right, so here it would take you to your video, and you would just want to name it with your name and number 13. And then when you open it in the editor, as soon as it actually uploads the clip, then you can cut stuff out of the front and cut stuff out of the back. And even if you wanted to add in text, you could add in text. So let's pretend right here that I wanted to do that. All right, so if I wanted to cut some stuff out, I could do so right there. And then I would just trim. And then I could click on that and then delete it. And then I would go here to where I ended. And then I would cut that out. And then I would go here and I would delete it. All right. If I wanted to add text on the bottom of it, you can. I don't really know why you would want to add that, but I mean, you can. So you would just drag this to however long you want that text to play. And you could just, you double click in it, and then that's where you type whatever it was, you know, that you wanted it to say. This one. All right, Israel, Google Docs, Impact Font. All right, pick another one. That's completely fine. I can show you later how to get to it, but for right now, it's completely fine to use another one. All right, so when you're done with it, you will hit export. And it's completely fine with me if you just take it and export it to your Google Drive, because then you can send me the link. And then in class next week, I'll be on the back end of YouTube showing you guys how to produce those videos. All right, so that is the very basic version of how to use that Screencastify. All right, let's check in on you guys and see what we need to be doing, what we need to be talking about. All right, Jonathan, you're working on 13, good deal. Aiden, working on 4, 5, and 6, very good. Aiden, do you need anything? Okay, you have another recording. Yes, of course, of course. Like right now, I use this one right here that's called Loom instead of the Screencastify. So if you guys wanted to try that one as well and just see which one works better, just depending on what computer you have, some work different and or better than others. Oh, wrong button. All right, Nathan, you are 1000% okay to go ahead and start screencasting. All right, Israel, I see what you said about the impact font. It's completely fine. Just use another one. All right, so Will, I'm going to show you what I see on your 13. Because you have something about media examples, and that was number 10. I know you don't, Nathan. That's why I said if you wanted to use one of those voice modulators, you can. All right, let's find it right here. All right, and I have an email back from Mr. Falk where he is talking about the Google Classroom. So, Will, as I'm getting into your stuff, they said that this, he said that this is the code ATEMYEU. That's what he just said to me would be the code that he got from Coach. So I would say for you guys to skinny over in another tab and take a look at that and see if that works. All right, so Will, what I'm confused over is that this is not how it's supposed to be set up at all. Like that right there. You have media example 1, that none of this should be how it is supposed to look. So like, for example, when I go to Nathan's, Nathan is showing you, very good. That is the code for Google Classroom. All right, so Nathan, he did his right. So you guys take a look, see at his, that you've got your beginning slide that just has your name and Man versus Tech. You've got a slide that has the, like your personal opinion and interaction with tech. You've got a slide that has all of your positive stuff that is numbered. You've got a slide that has all your negative stuff that is also numbered. And then you have a sources slide. All right, so to show you what I need that to look like, I'm going to bring it up to here. All right, and we have 10 minutes before it's actually time for class to be over. So as far as like decompressing and talking about what we're doing next week, today is the last day for any of your stuff that we've been working on this week to be done. So those of you that are working on 13, that needs to be done today or tomorrow. I'll even give you until Sunday afternoon. And then anything in that catch-up class needs to be done today. All right, so Will is going to go in now, and he's going to, well, I'm going to do it for you. Wow, why did that just disappear? You don't have to delete everything, good grief. All right, I've got to go back and restore this version for you. Yeah, so nothing ever actually just like deletes away from any Google stuff. All right, so if this is supposed to be his slide about his personal interaction with tech, so then he would start designing that slide to have all of the goods and the bads that he sees with tech, or that he has actually like come into contact with. All right, then he's going to have a slide. Actually, let's not do that one. Let's do this one right here. And I'll just delete that bad boy out of the way. So this would be all of his positives about tech. And then we would make sure that this one is numbered, because he should have 5 things about the positives. And then he's going to do the exact same thing for the negatives. So this one would turn out to be the negatives. All right, and then the very last slide that will do is one that has all of these sources. So I would say to use this one right here that gives you 2 columns, because then you will need to have a column for all of your sources for positives and all of your sources for negatives. These will also need to be numbered. And I will also go ahead and throw caution out there to you, because you are creating content. You are creating real life things that are going to be seen and found on the World Wide Web of YouTube. I don't know how familiar with YouTube you guys are, but there is a lot of tech on the back end of YouTube that can detect copyright infringements. Meaning, if you copy and paste your information from a website, if you take and add music that is not copyright free, if you use copyrighted anything in your slideshow or in your music or anything, as soon as I produce that to YouTube, the back end will have a bot that has an algorithm or whatever that it figures out that stuff exists, and we get in really, really big trouble, which means you get in really, really big trouble. So please, for the love of everything that is beautiful in the world, do not steal from a website. We're citing our sources, which is the first part of what we have to do. And even the music that I'm going to layer behind you guys' presentations when I start producing them into videos, even the behind the ground music is going to be copyright free. So if you copy and paste, like let's say Aiden, obviously I know you didn't actually do this, buddy. But let's say Aiden, this was his slides, and he copied and pasted it, and I didn't check it or I didn't notice it, and I put it on YouTube. We could get in trouble with YouTube because you did that, which then means that you have to get a 0 for the project, because school rules. You can't do that. Plagiarism is not good. All right, so it is almost time. You guys have about 5 minutes left. So if you guys need to unmute and ask questions to finish up today, go ye therefore. I'm just checking in on you guys' slides to make sure everything looks good. If you are ready to do the video and you guys want to turn it in, you'll see number 14 in Google Classroom at some point in time today that I will add in there. All right, Israel, looks like you haven't asked anything else. Will, I just showed you what you needed. And Marcus, yes, Marcus, all of your stuff looks absolutely good. So all you have to do now is do your video and then send that to me. And then you will be A-OK G2G.
Mrs. Newsom.
Buddy, I just told you. All right, so to show you again. All right, let me go back to the one I showed you before. Wherever it is. All right, so Will, if you need to make a screenshot of this right now, this is what slide 2 is supposed to look like. Slide 2 is supposed to be your opinion of tech, positive and negative. All right, for those of you guys that are done with 13, go ahead and turn that into Google Classroom. And you guys will still have viewing access to do your video. All right, so Will, does that answer your question about number 13? All right, good deal. All right, does anybody else need anything before you guys start skinnying on out of here?
Nope.
All right, fantastic. Well, you guys have done an absolutely fantastic job. I have really enjoyed our digital DPA day. I know for us, it pretty much just looks the same as it always looks, but I have really loved getting to do this in more of like a personal setting, and the fact that, you know, you're working like this at home. So do let me also remind you that anytime you guys are at home and you guys are working on stuff and you need my assistance, we can have this set up every single time you guys need something. If you weren't in class one day and you watched the Google Meet recording and you didn't understand something, literally all you have to do is just send me an email that in the subject line says confused, need Google Meet, and I promise we can have this exact same setup of you and I talking through slides and through a Google Meet. Alrighty, so you guys can go ahead and head on out. I'll stop the recording and I'll make sure to send it to you guys as soon as it renders. And I hope you have an awesome, awesome rest of your Digital DPA Friday. Catch you on the flip side, kiddos. Peace out.
Bye.